Hey everyone, my name is Ammar, and throughout my talk, I want you guys to understand that as I'm saying all these things, it's more of a journey for me than it is about saying something that is inherently known to me. So what I'm trying to say is all of this is something that I just learned of in the past week, and I'm still having quite a hard time grasping all of it, and I think that through me talking about it to you guys, I would know and learn more for a really long time. But I guess my purpose for today is not to talk about feelings or who you should love. I think that's all up to you and your preference. But what I'm concerned more about right now is how all of us view love as of today. Because let's face it, a big construct of what we have of love in our minds comes from mass media and motion pictures. We watch endless numbers of films, TV shows, like these, and K-dramas as well. We listen to hundreds of songs about love, whether they're about first love or breakups. We consume so much of other people's lives on Instagram, on TikTok, and especially on Twitter. Hardly anyone thinks that there's anything that needs to be learned about love, and I don't think that's true. So let's start with something small. Is love something that is active or passive? Now, what do I mean by that? Someone who thinks of love as something that is passive will ask themselves, how do I become love? While someone who thinks of love as something active will ask themselves, how do I love? Now, I found this really famous German, I think he's German. Yeah, I'm right. German psychologist and sociologist Erich Fromm. He writes in his book on the art of loving that nowadays people look at love through a very passive lens. So what that means is they don't really act upon love, but they wait for it to come to them. So it's something that just comes naturally or by luck or by chance, and it's made even more mainstream nowadays through idioms such as "true love comes to those who wait," or "don't chase love, it will come to you when the time is right." Or maybe even "semua orang ada jodoh masing-masing," so just have faith. Now, well, I'm not here to put down any of those statements or any of those beliefs. I do have a bone to pick with the mindset that it develops when you fully take in these sentences or take in these statements. What ends up happening is you focus all of your effort on just yourself and making yourself as lovable as possible. And I don't think that's right. Now, Erich Fromm, he further writes in his book that the problem society has nowadays is that we tend to treat love as if it is an object, as it is a noun or something that is just passive as it comes to us, when inherently we should be treating it as a verb, something that you do and something that you act upon. Now, Bell Hooks, another great writer, she writes in her book all about love, that when we start to think of love as an action and something that we do, we start to assume accountability and responsibility. Now, what do I mean by that? We all like to say that we don't have control over our emotions, right? But we do like to say that we have some sort of control on our actions. So when we choose our actions and when we choose to look at love as an action, we tend to take responsibility towards our acts. And that's why we tend to become more responsible people. So now, love as an art. Now, when I say art, I don't mean art as in arts and design or something of that sort. Or perhaps drawing something that is very beautiful, or perhaps making this very, very nice rumah kutai that we presented for Rome, or decorating your room, like this very, very beautiful room that I found in the hostel open tour today. All of that is great, and that's absolutely awesome, but it's not the art that I'm talking about here today. The art that I'm talking about is a human activity which involves creativity and skill, and it results in beauty, emotional power, and inspiration of new ideas. Now, the benefits of looking at love as an art like this is that it creates a wonderful mindset inside of ourselves in how we treat love. just like any other forms of art, like playing an instrument, dancing, painting, or maybe even solving math problems, it requires constant practice, dedication, and faith. Just as you can't be a good pianist by only playing the piano when you feel like it, and just as you can't be a good student by only studying when you feel like it, you can't be good at love when you only do it when it's easy or enjoyable. Love takes commitment, effort, and most importantly, faith. Faith in your partner and especially faith in yourself. Because when you're practicing an art and you get into a difficult time or a difficult skill, you don't give up because it's hard. You get through and you have faith that in the future you're going to succeed and you're going to come out better than you were before. So you continue to put effort into the art, even when it's hard. The same thing is true about love. And now onto my most important point. When you work in art, you realize that what you're creating is what leads with fulfillment, right? Now, for example, an artist bestows meaning upon their life because the painting, as a product of their efforts, reflects their incredible abilities back to them. The artist realizes that the reason that the canvas is so beautiful is because of them. They were what made the canvas beautiful. Or when you do a math problem, and you finally solve that stupid question that took you so long to answer, and you go, heck yeah, I solved that question. I'm so proud of myself. So thus, love is to nurture the flourishing of someone else, and at the same time, you recognize your own worth through their flourishing. Kind of like a mother raising their children. The only reason some of us are so incredible and amazing as we are today is because of the even more amazing love that our mothers gave to us throughout our lives. And it only goes to show how incredible our mothers are. When we start treating love as something that is active or something that is an art rather than a thing, then love starts to become something more about giving than receiving. When you give, you experience your own strength, you experience energy, and you experience aliveness. Giving is what keeps us alive, and when you're giving someone love, you're giving something that is something very special, something that makes up you. Your passion, your interests, your emotions, and your preferences. Your love is unique, and how special is the love that the person is receiving. And now my final topic for today. Social media and how it's affecting us. Let's talk about the word hyperreality. Hyperreality basically means when something is exaggerated in comparison to reality, but for some reason, we accept that as reality. Now, this word was first introduced by Jean Baudrillard, a French sociologist who is famous for his critique of postmodernism. And he first introduced the word hyperreal when explaining the effects that mass media and movies and TV shows have on us as a society. So, for example, when I mention something such as Paris or London or perhaps even KLCC or Pavilion, we don't think of those images or those things in our mind as us being there, but instead we think of them through movies, through scenarios that has happened in TV shows or things that we see on Instagram. So the media, which was originally an imitation of reality, ends up being more real, thus hyper-reality. We consume so much of drama and shows that it ever changes our conception of love. Thus, the imaginary dictates reality. It then leads us to think that love needs to be in a certain way, or love needs to be a constant performance where everything is perfect. And if somehow your romantic lover is unable to fulfill your desires of a picture-perfect romantic life, then you should move on and never settle for less. Or perhaps if you still have faith in your partner and you want to stay, then you're going to be in a constant state of sadness because you're always comparing your own relationship to others because of the standards of fictional characters or things of that sort. And quote unquote, that character is definitely written by a woman. Now, I do need to stop here and say that I don't think that there is anything wrong with watching movies or K-dramas or romance shows, whether they are real or not. I myself do love a nice romance story, and I personally think that men, especially, do have to try and incorporate what they can from these love stories into their relationships, because it shows effort and it serves as a lesson for all of us. I still do want to take my special someone to Cinque Terre in Italy, or perhaps to Annecy and Paris, France, and enjoy the best French pastries in the world. Or, if they want something different, you can go to Vienna, Austria, and enjoy some Mozart concerts and some of their very nice museums. All of that is fine, and I absolutely support it. But I am concerned of, these unrealistic standards affecting us, and especially us accepting them as what love is. Because then it distorts our conception of love and all of that. I think I'm just being too paranoid. Now, we are surrounded by people who post picture-perfect pictures on Instagram. I don't know how to say it. They post pictures that are perfect on Instagram of their relationship. And it gives us a standard to compare to when we're looking at our own love and what we are receiving. Now, social media nowadays has become much more formal, and I wouldn't say it is an exaggeration of reality, but when you're consuming something from someone that is literally their happiest moments of their lives, or the best moments of their lives with their special someone, it starts to make you think that there is something wrong with your life, because you don't happen to be from the ultra-rich or the ultra-attractive. And it makes you feel as if something is missing, even though perhaps there wasn't something missing in the first place. Now, this is where I come to this answer. You're probably going to ask me, Ammar, so social media plays such a big part in our lives. We love consuming K-drama and movies of that sort. So how do we make peace with all of this? And to that, I have to tell you that I don't know. And I still don't know, even after researching for everything. And I wish I knew. And it brings me to the conclusion of today's talk. There is a specific reason why I chose this topic. The first one is that I think I find it interesting. I think it's really nice. Because I don't know much about love, and it is something that I would like to experience but before I do get to experience it, I want to learn more about it and do it properly. And the second and the most important reason is I think I need to step out of my comfort zone. I've been too enclosed inside my bubble, because this entire time I've always been looking at it through an Islamic perspective. The whole thing with jodoh or love after marriage. But I think that we need to widen our view and look at things from different perspectives, because it really helps us discover ourselves better. So here it is. This entire talk has been a journey for me into discovering more about this topic. And I believe that there is no end answer. I believe that everyone has their own preferences and what they want with their partner. And I think you should try and experiment more, because that's where the fun is, right? And through experimenting more with someone that you love, you get to learn more about yourself. And through this talk, I hope it has inspired you to maybe question the little things inside of your mind and make you a better person and perhaps a better lover as well. Okay, so that's the end of my talk. And we have like a couple of minutes left. So I want to open to questions, and then we can answer them really quickly. So does anyone have any questions you want to ask? Anything that's in their mind, something that you think? Or maybe you want to share something that's interesting.
Hi,
Oh, Shannon. Okay.
Do you agree with the statement, you should love yourself first before loving others?
Should we love ourselves first before loving others? To a point, yes, I do think so. We do need to have a certain self-love and some kind of security in ourselves before we love others, because then I think we would be burdening our partner in our relationship a lot. But at the same time, I think that if we wait for ourselves to be perfect, then we're never going to be in a real relationship. And we're never going to commit ourselves to that relationship. And I think love is a lot about trust and helping the other person. Love is not always about 50%, 50%, and everyone giving the same amount of effort. I think sometimes it's going to be 70-20, 70-30, or 80-20. Someone is always going to be helping the other more in a certain period of time, and I think that is completely fine. And I think that's how love should be. Alright. I think we'll have to end the talk now. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Ammar. So take love not as an adjective, but as an action.